Hey, how's it going? You're listening to the Where Are We podcast, where we talk about Indigenous people in the media. And for today's show, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the course that I'm finishing up right now at Trent University in Peterborough. And the course is called INDG 3102, and it discusses where Indigenous people are in the media, and is what kind of inspired me to do this podcast and talk to you about all these different issues, because they're kind of big issues. And as always, our music features a tribe called Red, who is on their own a driving force in the music industry and is getting increasingly popular with everyone that loves music, especially people who love like EDM music. Overall, they're just very talented artists, and I believe that they're going to go very far very soon because they're really catching on. And I'm also going to feature 2 songs by Frank Waln, and the greatest thing about this guy is that he uses his rap to tell a story, and also, just like a tribe called Red, includes some of the powwow songs and everything into his rap, which I absolutely adore and love. Plus, the raps are actually really good. It doesn't sound mediocre at all. Like, he could give Eminem a run for his money, honestly. And I'm going to be playing a song called Aboriginal, spelled capital A-B, capital O, original. And I love that because it's very much like he's the Aboriginal, but yet they are the original peoples, and that's how that kind of sticks out. And also makes sense as to what Aboriginal even means, which is also really cool. Learned that just now, honestly. And I'm also going to be playing a song that's called What Makes the Red Man Red, which actually uses clips from old cartoons like the Peter Pan movie when they ask what makes the red man red. And I think that's really clever, and it really fits with the podcast because we're talking about where Indigenous people are in the media. And there's a lot of stereotypes in cartoons, which I won't really get into because that's another podcast for a different day, because there's a lot that I could cover. And then finally, at the very end, I'm going to feature a song that I actually helped record and produce. And it's when my sister actually took this course last year. And the song is called Vanquish. And it's kind of about her journey as an Indigenous woman and not looking Indigenous. And basically being so white that even when you tell people, they just accuse you of like appropriating culture, and it's really sad. So it's also very empowering, and I love listening to that song whenever I feel kind of down or I am lost with my identity. And again, it's called Vanquish, so I'm going to be playing that at the very end, so stay listening because you don't want to miss it. And you're listening to the Where Are We podcast. I'm Jazz, and to start off, we do have a tribe called Red with their song General Generations.
Are you ready?
Hey, thanks for listening to the Where Are We podcast, where we talk about Indigenous people in the media. And today I'm talking about my experience in Trent University's INDG 3102 course, where they talk about Indigenous people in the media. Coincidence? It's not. And first off, I do have to say that this course was especially excellent, and I highly recommend that you take it, especially if you like the stuff that I talk about, because it pretty much touches on everything I talk about. And my favorite thing about the course was that it made me see various points of views and exposed me to many different films and TV shows that I would not have given up time for at all. One film that kind of sticks out to me is the film Even the Rain, and it's a Spanish language film, and it battles the ideas of Columbus and his colonialists' ideas and what he did to people, which was terrible, by the way. And the movie explores this concept not by doing like a historical drama, but they are actually filming a historical drama, and it's about the filming of that movie while the Bolivia water crisis is going on. Something that I didn't even know existed, and this happened in 2000, and I feel like I should have known it. Of course, I was about 8 years old, but still, I was 8 years old, and I should have known about different issues that went around in the world. The whole movie is basically like a film within a film within a film, and so on and so forth. I would try to explain it to you, but you're just going to get confused, and then I'm going to get confused, and it's not going to turn out well. But within this movie, within a movie, within a movie, we are exposed to the hell that the Aboriginal women and men went through when they were actually fighting for the right for clean water. They went through so many different trials and tribulations to end up getting there. And even in the film, we see one of the main actors that they really wanted, a Indigenous, not professional actor, which is used a lot in films. And, through the film, we see the struggles that he goes through, and what the people who are making the film go through when he is fighting for his right for clean water, and he's basically the face of the rebellion, and what do they do? So this film kind of encapsulates all of that, especially if you love kind of getting to know how a film works. I think it does a really good job portraying that as well. So definitely recommend that film, and it's definitely something that I would not have watched if it weren't for this course, and I'm really surprised about how much I love it. It is on Netflix, so go ahead and give it a look. And now that I'm kind of sitting here and reflecting upon my experience in this course, I'm remembering a lot of my reaction to some of the things that I have noticed. Like the extreme lack of an Indigenous person anywhere. It doesn't matter what I watch anymore, it's right there in front of me. Or really, it's not there in front of me. Personally, I think that the thing that people are not understanding is that we aren't asking for Indigenous people to have strong roles or leading roles in every film, although that would be amazing. Even just one extra that's an Indigenous person, a businessman who is working, a secretary, someone on the radio, I don't know, anything at all. That's all that I'm asking for. You see people that are walking down the streets in films. They're white, or maybe they're another race, but they're not Indigenous people. They're just not. The fact that we have to celebrate that someone has been in a film for 2 seconds and has one line is really, really sad. Like, imagine if it kind of got flipped over its head and we had white people complaining about it and that they only had one tiny little role, if any role. Whoa, mind blown, right? Exactly. That's the thing that we kind of have to think of when we're thinking about Indigenous people in the media. We have to turn the wheel and really flip people on their heads in order to figure out, this is wrong. This is the thing that's happening. And, you get thinking about it. Is it really that difficult? Is it really that difficult to find an Indigenous person anywhere? It doesn't matter if they're a paid actor. It doesn't matter if they're a trained actor. It doesn't matter anything. Do you even have them walk down a street? Indigenous people aren't extinct. There are a lot of us out there. Some of us even look white. So there you go, if you're really wanting in and out of that one. But just show people that you care. Is it really that hard to ask for? Is to have someone in a film? Honestly, we are shown in one of 4 ways. So number 1, you have the squaw, who is the beautiful woman, who's the princess kind of, Pocahontas, and she's basically just there to look pretty and to be a whore, for lack of a better word. Squaws, really, it's such a terrible, squaw. It just sounds weird too. And then you have number 2, which is the warrior, who is basically the guy who fights people on a horse in the Midwest, or someone who really doesn't care about anything other than a good kill, and really likes, hunting the buffalo. That's, I guess, what a warrior is, and what an Indian is, no matter how much I hate to say that word. Number 3, we have the savage, who is very similar to the warrior, but, he's just dedicated to really killing. Like, he just wants to kill people. He is not groomed at all. He is basically just wearing a loincloth, having the time of his life, scalping people on a daily basis, because, that's what they do. It's not what they do. Now, finally, for number 4, we have the shaman. And it's sickening. Like, they're the stoic one, with all of the knowledge, and the healer. And it's basically, for me, from what I've seen, it's like, what the hippies based their whole entire movement on was this, we've got to be peaceful and hunt the buffalo kind of thing. Like, really? I don't think that's actually what they do. Yes, they're peaceful. Yes, they know all those different things. But you don't need to have, like, basically every single person, even in The Simpsons. Oh, you have, like, the chief leader who's also the shaman, who's also the medicine man, making all these differences. Really? Is that the only person you think of when you think of an Indigenous person? They're a shaman. There's one shaman. And then, of course, on top of these main stereotypes, we have the drunks, the drug addicts, the people who, fight all the time, who give up, who don't care. And that is, in a lot of films. And I like that they actually do talk about it in the film, The Real Engine, where they do talk about these issues and everything. And it's really cool, and I love it. Watch The Real Engine, by the way. You're going to get really more educated, a lot more than me, or even this course, because it kind of just sums everything up. And also it has some really great, like, Indigenous comedians in it, and it's also really funny. So watch it. And that's enough for my ranting for just right now, and we will be back, but we're going to take a little break right now, and we have Frank Wallen with the song that I was telling you about a little bit earlier, and it is called Aboriginal.
Look it all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain. Look it all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain. I'm leaving home, all alone. On the res I grew up unknown. My stone. The world said I couldn't be a king, but in the city I could see a throne. Feeling like the king of the damned in the kingdom of sand. Building castles as my freedom expands, just to watch them fall down as the tides roll in. I never seen a storm come without a wind, and so I idle no more, wrath and pride of the poor. Cause educated warriors are vital to war, and we battling oppression. Got me stressing, wondering if I'll ever learn my lesson. Cause I can't let my people go, and I can't let my weakness show. Even when I'm hopeless and I'm pitiful, I keep going on that I'm aboriginal. I got this aboriginal soul, I got this aboriginal flow, I got this pain that I can't shake, ties to my people I can't break. Got this history in my blood, got my tribe that shows me love. So when I rise, you rise, yeah. Come on, let's rise, get it. It's been months since I seen a native that's messing with my creative approach. It's got me jaded, isolated. No one understands me like my people. These white kids don't know my struggles. I ain't equal in their eyes. Their intolerance brings me troubles. I'm not the noble savage doing damage to the perception of who I am. Self-destruct when I self-construct my own plan of my identity from their affinity to rape the culture. They rape the land, shaming in the end just to save the man. But this Indian never dies. I got this aboriginal soul, I got this aboriginal flow, I got this pain that I can't shake, ties to my people I can't break. Got this history in my blood, got my tribe that shows me love. So when I rise, you rise, yeah. Come on, let's rise, yeah. I got those reservation blues, reservation blues. I got those reservation blues, reservation blues. I got those reservation blues, reservation blues. I got those reservation blues. I got those reservation blues. Look it all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain. Look it all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the whole
It's 2013, our chiefs are all shot. Digital blankets give us spiritual smallpox. Certain revelations arise, and my path becomes clear as reservation skies. And I could use a little hope sometimes, cause I was dead broke when I wrote this rhyme. So faith in myself's what I'm supposed to find. Play cultural red rubber and I broke the line. I blew right past it, raps spew like acid. Mind of an activist, my cult is assassin who mastered hip-hop to fight his battle. Saddle up this beat and let my rhymes unravel, yeah. Oh God, call your cavalry because I leave stereotypes as casualties, yeah. Oh God, better call your cavalry because I leave all your gals as casualties. I don't see no reservations now. I'm trying to get up out of here. I don't need somebody tell me how I'm supposed to live my life in fear. These borders can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. These borders can't hold me back. Can't hold me back.
If you a red man, you a dead man. Better off on the res, what they said, man. You a mascot, just a ghost now. Just a thing that I wear up on my clothes now. Look all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the whole pain. Look all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain. Look all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain. Look all around, look around at the whole thing. If your skin is brown, then you're down for the old pain.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Where Are We podcast, where we talk about where Indigenous people are in the media. And today we're going to be going over my thoughts on the class INDG 3102 from Trent University. And right now I'm going to dive into what my favorite assignment was in the class. So basically one of the assignments that we did was that we had to put a red cloth on a tree to show our respect and to acknowledge missing and murdered Aboriginal women and girls in Canada. And you know, I could have just hung a piece of cloth on a tree and took a picture of it and be like, here you go. But you know me, we've spent a little bit of time together and that's not how I roll. I go in when I want to do something. And I really wanted to make a difference. So I reached out to some Indigenous people within the Queen's community, which is where I currently go to school. And I had two wonderful Indigenous women step up to the plate and help me tie red cloth around a birch tree in front of a place called Summer Hill, which is pretty much where the principal lives and where all the, you know, important people go to when they want to have a good time, I guess. Or they work there. I don't really know what goes on in that building. It's a secret. Anyway, I thought that would be the best place to kind of make a difference. And when we put it up, the cloth on the birch tree, they prayed with me, and we prayed for this little baby girl who actually had gone missing, and who they did find the body for. She was just a few months old, and we had the cloth put on a birch tree that was kind of separated so that the cloth would then go around the two parts of the tree, so then it would stand for people being brought together and two spirits being brought together, and hopefully that child could find their mother again. And one woman did lay down an offering of tobacco and wrapped it up in a red cloth, and it was really, you know, a magical experience when you have these people do this, and I loved it. And I try not to cry because, you know, I don't like to cry in front of people, but it really was one of the most powerful and emotional moments I have really ever experienced in having people join together and show their respect and love and, you know, admiration for people and acknowledge that this is a problem in our society and we need to do something about it. And, you know, I didn't want this to be a protest piece. You know, I just wanted it to be a demonstration of love, peace, hope, and truth and reconciliation, and for people to acknowledge and maybe to ask questions, where if someone sees a red cloth on a tree, they can, you know, type it into Google, why is this red cloth on a tree, and they can figure it out. And, you know, I do believe that we have succeeded. After weeks, it is still there on the tree, and that's something that I was not expecting. I was expecting someone to take it down, it to be cut off, anything. And, you know, I think it really stands for the respect that people actually do have for this issue. And if they don't know about it, well, then hopefully it will educate some people. And after that kind of, you know, sad, very loving topic, we're going to go into another thing. And it's going to be the project that I kind of had the most difficulty with in the course. And it was this thing where we had to create like a brochure advertising a place, and we had to use like this randomizer thing. I don't like randomizers because it always picks places that I cannot do. Like, I did this in French class once. It was a terrible experience. Anyway, I got this place called Kawasaki, Japan. I had to do a lot of research on the Indigenous people in the area because let me tell you, there is not that much information about them. It is frankly, honestly, very surprising about how little information there is about the Indigenous people in Japan. So, I remember sitting at my computer for what seemed to be like forever, trying to find out who in the world these people were, because it seemed that wherever I looked, it said something completely different than the other sites. Now, this may have been due to translation issues, but I honestly doubt that because, really? And, even with all this said, I did finally figure it out, and I did get a good grade on it, so woo. So what I finally did figure out is that the Ainu people, spelled A-I-N-U, are the Indigenous people of Japan as like a whole. And if you do want to know more about the Ainu people or Kawasaki or Japan, well, there's a link to the PDF of my brochure below. So maybe you want to plan a next trip to Japan. So as you can probably tell from these two assignments, there is a heck of a lot of variety in the assignments that we had to do. And just in case you're asking yourself, but Jazz, what else is there? Well, I'm going to tell you because I think you should really know about it. So basically, the first one that we had to do was called a creation story, and you kind of have to make this up. And I based it on a plate that I made in grade 11 ceramics class, which was about 9 years ago. I'm very old, yes. And it talked about seasons and how kind of they came to be. Also, if there's something that will make you cry, it's definitely writing about the events in your life and trying to put a creative spin on it. Because let's face it, reflecting is hard. And another one that we had to do was make a Heritage Minute storyboard. And I did mine on the Beaver Wars / the battle between the Mississaugas and Mohawks on Moira Lake and Stokoe Lake in Tweed, Ontario. Now, let me tell you something that everyone should know when you write something and then record it. Expect it to be a heck of a lot longer than you had planned. This happened to me, and I've been recording and editing and writing, breaks and talking bits and everything for the past 5 years, and my whole voiceover was 2.5 minutes long, and it's a Heritage Minute commercial, which means that I had to edit down 1.5 minutes of it. But it all kind of worked out in the end. I had to edit it, which was kind of a pain, but it had to be done. Also, I'm not much of a drawer, so the storyboard didn't look as on point as I wanted it to be, but it was decent, I guess. And then for the very typical media class assignment, we did have to do a movie review, and I did mine on Rhymes for Young Ghouls, which is one of the most creative, eye-opening, jaw-dropping, just out there beautiful movies that I've ever seen, especially one that kind of focuses on residential schools, identity, men versus women, alcohol, drugs, money, etc. in such a creative way that doesn't make you feel like, okay, great, I'm watching another documentary on residential schools. Yes, it's a big deal, but can you please stop? Which I think is the main thing that a lot of people actually do, which needs to kind of change. But this really puts it into a different perspective and makes you think, oh, this is a fantasy kind of film, but wait a second, this is real. And I think that's the biggest thing about the film. And you know what? With that note, we're going to take a little break. And here's Frank Wan again with his song, What Makes a Red Man Red? And stay listening to the Where Are We podcast.
The Indians too. This should be most enlightening.
What makes the red man red?
Teach 'em all about Red Man.
What made the red man red? What made the red man red? What made the red man red? What made the red man red?
Teach 'em all about Red Man. Red Man.
Your history books, your holidays, Thanksgiving lies and Columbus Day. Tell me what I know more than the teacher. Tell me what I know more than the preacher. Tell me why you think the red man is red, stained with the blood from the land he bled. Tell me why you think the red man is dead, with the fake headdress on your head. Tell me what you know about thousands of nations, displaced and confined to concentration camps called reservations. We died for the birth of your nation. Hollywood portrays us wrong. History books say we're gone. You got a church, say we're wrong. We're from the earth, it made us strong.
For many moons, Red Man fight pale-faced.
What made the red man red? What made the red man red? What made the red man red? What made the red man red?
Please, boys, do you want to stay here and grow up like savages? Like savages?
Savages as savage does. The me, arrest what's best for me. They kill my culture, America made a mess of me. You inherited everything we die for, and all we get is a goddamn mascot. Manifest destiny, arrest what's best for me. They kill my culture, America made a mess of me. You inherited everything we die for, and all we get is a goddamn mascot.
Red skins, red souls, red skins. Many moons, red man fight, pale face. Sometime you win, sometime we win.
Red skins. You made me red when you killed my people. Made me red when you bled my tribe. Made me red when you killed my people.
Savages, like savages.
Pale face.
Savages?
Go out and capture a few Indians.
Savages?
Hey, thanks for listening to the Where Are We podcast, where we talk about Indigenous people in the media. And today we're talking about the Indigenous 3102 course at Trent University, which talks about Indigenous people in the media, and inspired me to do this podcast. So, woot for you and for me. Now, to finish off this podcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about the films that I liked the most and the films that I liked the least, and how this course has kind of changed me as a person. So for the film that I loved the most, it would have to be Smoke Signals. And what I liked the most about this was that it was an Indigenous film to the bone, and it was really funny. They played on stereotypes and, addressed them head on, and didn't address them head on too. I mean, come on, that "no, man, we're like Tonto and Tonto" line was gold. I laughed for a couple minutes, I can't even lie. It was about that time. And, even though it was funny, there were also some very serious topics that they addressed, and they were very serious in the film as well. And, it addressed the issue of alcoholism on the reserve, how family life is like, all without the stereotypes being thrown in your face. Like, hey, this is a movie where everyone's drunk. It wasn't like that. It was addressing those issues in a kind of like a positive, more learning experience way. And, I could go on forever about this film, but I won't, because, I'll just bore you after a bit, because it's also getting a bit long. And as for the film that I didn't really enjoy the most, well, it would have to be The Searchers and Rabbit Proof Fence. Now, to be honest with you, because I've watched them before, I didn't watch them again for this course. But don't judge me, because I'm sorry. But, I'm the kind of person that watches a film over and over and over again if she really likes it. So that kind of says a lot about these films. And so here's the reason why I kind of dislike them the most. So they're for two different reasons. The Searchers is a very classic Western movie, but it's extremely racist. I mean, John Wayne is such an egotistical white man who firmly believes in the whole Manifest Destiny idea that honestly just makes me sick, and I could not watch it. It honestly did make me sick, and I had to turn it off when I had to watch it the first time for another class. Now, as for Rabbit Proof Fence, it's just so long. I feel like the movie could have ended after an hour instead of, keep on going and going and going. And although it did open my eyes to the history of Australia, and I'm really happy that I did learn about, the residential schools in Australia, because I had no idea about them before, and how, like, the white people actually thought that they were doing a good thing for these people. I learned all that, but it was just boring once these girls started walking forever and ever and ever along this fence. They could have done, like, a cutaway or something to the end. It was my personal opinion, of course, like everything pretty much is for these podcasts, but that's kind of what that film did for me. Although it opened my eyes, it really kind of just bored me to death, really. Now, one thing I do want to mention, which is kind of going back to one of my favorites, now even though it isn't my favorite, if you do want to watch something that is funny and kind of addictive, well, go to APT, and that's the Aboriginal Peoples Television Network's website, and watch Mohawk Girls, like the sitcom. It's a great show, and it's hilarious, so I definitely recommend it if you want to have like a really cool, funny Indigenous, storyline. And finally, for how I have changed along the course of this course. Overall, I think that I'm very more aware of the things that I watch and, what I don't watch. I mean, half the things that we watched in this class were films that I would have never watched by choice. And now I will watch them again, or I will look for films like them. And this course has also encouraged me to research and to look into the where are we question. And heck, I wouldn't be talking to you about it today if it weren't for this course, because I didn't really think about it that much. And, the more that you start thinking about things like where are people, or even in any kind of media, television, film class, and you think, oh, that shot's that way, it works the exact same way for like, where are these people in films and where aren't they? That's also kind of like a question as well. As I am finishing this course, I really want to get reading those Indigenous plays that I bought, and hopefully I'll continue to write my own play and screenplay. It's kind of like based on my life and kind of based on how I feel about my Indigenous identity being so white and, not being represented in different things, or having people, treat you badly because you're white, even though you're technically not. I will bring all of these ideas that were talked about in this course that goes above and beyond what I even talked about in this podcast, because this podcast could go on for about a day, not joking. And, I feel like that's kind of what's opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes to ask questions and to do research. And I think that that's the most important thing that any course can do, is to inspire you to learn more, because learning really is like the magical thing that happens on a daily basis. To end today's Where Are We podcast, here's my sister Poe with her song Vanquish that she did, as I said, kind of at the beginning of the podcast, about her own Indigenous identity. And again, my name's Jazz, and thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next week about where Indigenous people are in the media. This is the Where Are We podcast.
Church and taught about Jesus. I ran in the woods, I did what nature pleases. They taught me in school that I was one of us, so I went to Big U to run my native thesis. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. My visions were at day, my dreams were at night. Even when I'd play, I'd see a frightful sight. Although my life seemed found, I felt my life was lost. I'd see my people fighting, dying was their cost. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. My fallen people's blood, it colored the rivers red. I heard my people's screams, to me they're never dead. Our story is always sacred, they are not held by time. They couldn't hold us down, the ladder we learned to climb. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. No matter all the lies, no matter all the cleansing, they took us from our homes, nature brought us all their blessings. We lost our ancestral lands, we were tricked by their trades. We've come a long way, we defeat lost masquerades. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood, hide from white man's scorn. They may have took our land, maybe our culture too. They tried to divide us, but together we've stayed true. We've stood the test of time, united we never lose. Our new history we are painting, this our time we choose. I was made white on the day I was born, told to hide my red blood. see my people's sight. Our new future we are writing, a future without plight. Together we are stronger, together we are born. Together we will vanquish white man's scorn.